Have you ever imagined the life of refugees youth in your own country? Have you ever asked yourself one day how it looked like or how it feels? Well, it's unfortunate that we are in a world where our governments are against young people voicing their concern. When they go on social media to launch a campaign, they brand it's a protest. When they form initiatives to bring themselves together, it's hard to believe. If it is believed after 2 years, 3 years, they are lucky. I am from a refugee camp in Uganda that I've lived there for the first 5 years. And for the past 10 years, without seeing my mom. At first, it was a good point because I was looking for better education. But then, the halfway, it became the worst nightmare to be a refugee. As one of my colleagues said, we'd never, and we will never, and we had never applied to be refugees, whether in this room or elsewhere. We are very unfortunate that in our own era, our government don't look at the future, but look at the present. Because if they want to build a better world, where will they get their elders today? The youth that are today are the elders tomorrow. So what kind of future do you want? If you want a better future, and you don't look at the present, are you working for it? You're not working for it. I live in Uganda in a refugee camp that hosts 270,000 refugees who are mostly or entirely South Sudanese. And 70% of that population is only women and young people. You can imagine that we live in a remote area that doesn't have electricity, that someone was talking of 20 or 200 the speed of, that is even okay. For us, it is hard to get. You have to climb trees, or you have to go a distance that some of our sisters could not do. Maybe a few of us men. You're not allowed to move out of the settlement. If you move, it's at your own time. Our education system only ends in high school with only 2 secondary schools to that population of 270,000. Which world is that? It's the refugees' world. In 2015, when I was elected to be a leader, at a very young age, because now I'm 24, you can do your mathematics very quickly. I was really hurt in my heart, but I accepted it because I didn't like what was happening. Yes, I don't have my parents, but who else will make that change? We don't demand for leadership, we earn it. So if people entrusted you, you have to own it. For 2 years, I became a Refugee Welfare Council 1. I felt that is not enough. That is just one village out of how many villages? 32 villages, 7 zones. That is not enough. When there is conflict, it is the youth. And they are not the youth of the host country. They are the refugees, actually. When partners come, what are you doing? Oh, we are working for the youth, right? Mark my word. What are you doing? Oh, we work for the youth, and we're organizing for them a sport. My first question that came to my mind was, are we born to be footballers all? Ask yourself. It's not. When you bring in for us the so-called business, you design it on your own way, I don't know, wherever you design it for, and you say, I have a program for you. So these 2 key things made me rethink my actions. I gathered a group of young people, and we founded a community-based organization called Youth Social Advocacy Team. You can look at the names, Youth Social Advocacy Team. We had no intention of getting a project, getting someone's money, but our aim is we do not want pre-designed things. Yes, we are refugees, we have accepted. But can we be part of the solution ourselves? Can you hear our voice? It's either a yes or a no. So it becomes like a story, refugees forming their initiative, okay. And so what are they going to do? Our first activity we did was to campaign against sexual gender-based violence that was rampant in my own country where I came from, South Sudan. I couldn't imagine a 15-year-old girl who is tall like me because of our gene being given a way to get married quickly. It's not possible. Yes, we do not have the Mandelas now, we do not have Gandhis now, but we got to create them ourselves. So we ask ourselves, with this initiative, what do we do? Have we lost hope? Don't we have skills? So when we went to the first office of the Prime Minister's office, the first thing they asked us was, and who gave you this power? Who gave you this power to come up with an initiative? And you even call like us to go to your place and attend a meeting. Who gave you the power? Remember, we are imagining the world we want, isn't it? So someone asking you that way, is he imagining that world or he's in his own world? So we said, no one but ourselves, because we have the power. He said, you have the power to overthrow us? We say, no. You have the power to be the RWC one, who is the leader of the settlement? We say, no. So which power? We say we have the power to change. We know what is happening, and we know how we can change it. Say, okay, show us. So we asked if there is a bigger leadership that we could approach, and they said, yeah, it's there. We went. Luckily, when we explained, we were granted, and we managed to have the meeting. Way back, that is in 2015. When we launched the initiative in 2016 during the World Refugee Day in Uganda, we asked everyone that was there, will you believe in young people? They say, yeah. So we asked them again, how do you show? Is it by words or by action? They say, of course, yeah, we come here and give you youth projects, we give you this, and we ask them, are you doing it for us, or you are doing it with us? They say, of course, we are doing it for you. Obviously, any of you in this room, are you doing it for the youth? Whether it's a refugee or it's not a refugee, have you ever thought of doing it with them or for them? If I ask, few of you have been doing it for us, right? And that is not us. It is not ours, it is yours. And when we walk away, because we are young people and we know what we're doing, you say, these are people who are incapable, they are still young. You brand us all the great names, whether we are refugees or we are, even in the Netherlands here. You say they are young people, they are X, Y, Z. And indeed, that goes to our mind and makes us walk away without looking back to you. So why did we think of coming up with such initiative? We wanted to tell the world that young people need to be involved in the decision that you're making if you want to go to a better world. We wanted to show the world that we can make it ourselves. Give us the space, and then watch us do it. Where we don't know, we wanted to show the world that let us know how to do it, we will do it. Because today we are young people, tomorrow we will be elders like you. What kind of elders do you want? When you come and say you are a refugee, the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, refugee, he's going to come to the Netherlands and he will not go back. We are all proud of our countries. Personally, I carried the flag of my country yesterday. I am a refugee, yes. I am more proud of my country's flag than the refugee flag. Because that is what defines me. Yeah? What happens when we reach Europe? Someone talked about it before. Uganda currently hosts more than 1 million refugees. And he's one of the African nations, very poor, like even my country. But Europe is folding its hands and watching. One thing that we also did with our organization was to involve the government. Uganda, you are hosting us, very good. But can you engage our country back home? What is the problem? You can do it in this room today as well. A Syrian refugee is living here in the Netherlands, and you're here attending this talk. Can't you, in your own way, do something that will make this person go back? So, why is it important that refugees have to come up with their own initiatives? Currently, we have 15 community-based organizations that are led by refugees themselves in the camp where I live. We started with 1, now there are 15. This is one thing. We started with 0 or nothing project or nothing money, but currently we have like 3 projects that we run to train young people on peace building and conflict mitigation, responsible use of social media that has been fueling a lot of conflict in my country. We have the entrepreneurship that support the young women and men. Currently we run like 5 of them, where we give them a competition, they compete, and when they win, they get 2 million Ugandan shilling each. This is at my own capacity. What about your capacity? What about if we combine it together? How far will it go? This is the only thing that they need. And where do we need this to do it? We need an innovation space, a space that is free for all of us, free of gender, free of sex, free of conflict, free of violence. This is the space we need. But who will create these spaces? Are you one of them? So the message that we're trying to send to young people through this initiative is that take up the space. We are already there. Whether you are a refugee, whether you are not, it doesn't matter. Like if she didn't say I was a refugee, were you going to know that I'm a refugee? It would be hard, right? So that means it's never a color. Refugee is never a color. So we have the power as young people to combine, get our energies together, and move on. We will only reach this world we want to go to if we claim the space today, as the young people. Because the leaders will never say, this is your space. They are feeling us as a threat, unfortunately, that if these young people come, they will take over. The world is full of leaders who are interested to sit on the chair, then leaders who can sit aside and watch. So what do? Are we also going to watch like them? I would say to the young people that it's already too late. We need to occupy the space now. To the private sector, I know the mind is you have to make business and profit. Well and good. But what impact are you making to the society? Look at the society around you. What impact are you making? It is time to believe, and I ask everyone in this room to believe in the youth, to believe that young people are the change. We are no longer leaders of tomorrow as they brand us. We are the leaders of today and elders of tomorrow. This would be the best way I would put it. Because if you think we are still leaders of tomorrow, until we grow gray hair, is when you realize that we are already old. Believe me. So it is time we have to believe in the young people. It is time you have to try. Get that support you have, give it to a refugee entrepreneurship, or give it to a young people's enterprise, even here in the Netherlands. Give them 1 year, a startup, and see how far they will go with the energy. I urge everybody to transform the 1 million refugees, South Sudanese refugees, or whatever number of refugees in Syria, transform them to peace ambassadors, transform them to global citizens, transform them to people that can make life through education, so that when they go back, they are the best ambassadors. An ambassador of the own country. We cannot hire ambassadors for peace. It will be a foreign peace. I urge everybody, including the Dutch, including everyone else, to transform the 1 million refugees in Uganda so that when they go back to South Sudan one day, they are not going to one place. They will go to all the 10 states, all the number of states, and when they go, where will they start? A different mindset. We have Rwanda that is now being led by a president who has been a refugee. Why? He never wants a repeat of what has happened. And this is the same as we. So what are you waiting for? I was inspired by The Hague yesterday, that I could sit next to the Queen. It's a dream come true. Like, zero distance actually. And when she passed by me, I think now, as I go back, whether I have to walk, I will walk. Because I need to tell the story. Yeah? It is so inspiring that you can even touch the wall of the Parliament of Netherlands, when we have several walls, several guns, and several wire mesh that are guarding our own parliament. Is it that the government has lost trust with the people? This is a message to both the young people, the private sector, all the UN agencies joining us, whether they're in this room or they're live, to take action that build trust in the young people. Believe in us, we will believe in you. Thank you very much.